Good morning and welcome to the Breakfast News this Friday morning. I'm Aishwarya Kapoor. Let us begin the bulletin with the headlines. Mehbooba Mufti is set to become the first woman Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir. PDP chooses her as their legislator party leader. David Headley reveals that former Shiv Sena Supremo Bal Thackeray was on Lashkar's hit list. Revelation during cross-examination via video conferencing at a Mumbai court. Six people detained in fresh raids over Brussels attack. Belgium ministers offered to quit over inaction despite intelligence inputs. US and Russia aim to agree for a draft version of a new constitution for Syria by August. Decision after talks between Vladimir Putin and John Kerry in Moscow. And in the World T20 Championships today, Pakistan and Australia fight it out in Mohali while South Africa take on West Indies in Nagpur. Well, the day's biggest story, Mehbooba Mufti is all set to become the first woman Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir after being elected leader of the PDP legislature party on Thursday. Now, the BJP says it will take a decision on government formation after the meeting of its MLAs today. Remember, hopes for a PDP-BJP coalition government formation were revived after Mehbooba Mufti met Prime Minister Narendra Modi in Delhi on Tuesday.
Legislature party of the PDP today unanimously elected Ms. Mehbooba Mufti as the leader of the legislature party and nominated her as the candidate for the Chief Minister's position.
Mehbooba Mufti all set to become Jammu and Kashmir's first woman Chief Minister. Her party, the PDP, formally elected her as its chief ministerial candidate at a meeting on Thursday. Mehbooba thanked party workers for extending their support to her and for backing her during testing times.
जो मुझ पे अपना एतबार जतलाया है उसके लिए मैं बहुत शुक्रगुजार हूँ और साथ ही आप सब लोगों को मैं मुबारकबाद देना चाहती हूँ कि पिछले तकरीबन 3 महीने से जिस तरह आप जुटे रहे मेरे पीछे महबूबा मुफ्ती की कोई ताकत नहीं है महबूबा मुफ्ती की ताकत आप लोग हो.
Earlier on Tuesday, Mufti's protracted impasse with the BJP ended when she met Prime Minister Narendra Modi in Delhi. After the meet, Mehbooba had said that a final decision on government formation and PDP-BJP alliance will be taken after consulting her party MLAs in the legislature meet. Now, BJP will hold its legislature party meet today for a formal approval for Mehbooba's ascent to the post of the Chief Minister. Jammu and Kashmir Governor N.N. Bora will also hold separate meetings with the PDP chief and BJP state president, after which the process of government formation will take place. In the 87-member J&K Assembly, PDP has 28 seats and BJP 25. Opposition National Conference has 15 and Congress 12.
The governor has called Ms. Mehbooba Mufti tomorrow for a meeting, and he has also invited the leader of the BJP, who are our allies.
लेजिस्लेटिव पार्टी की मीटिंग केंद्र के जो 2 पदाधिकारी यहाँ पर आएंगे और मुझे लगता है कुछ अच्छा निकलेगा और एक जम्मू कश्मीर में एक जो डेवलपमेंट का एक वातावरण अच्छा बना था और जिस तरीके की शांति बहाली यहाँ पर पिछली सरकार में भारतीय जनता पार्टी पीडीपी गठबंधन सरकार में हुई थी, एक उसी को कंटिन्यूअस एक पेस मिलेगी.
However, opposition parties are demanding that the two parties must tell people what agreements were reached between them during Mufti's meeting with the Prime Minister.
They are not telling the country and people on what are the agreements between these two parties for the formation of government.
Mehbooba Mufti represents South Kashmir's Anantnag constituency in the Lok Sabha. She will now have to get elected to either house of the state's bicameral legislature and also resign her Lok Sabha seat. Jammu and Kashmir was placed under governor's rule on 8th of January after Chief Minister Mufti Mohammad Saeed's death. Mehbooba Mufti had then refused to take over, insisting that fundamental terms of the agreement of the alliance were being ignored by the BJP, a charge that was denied by the latter. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV. And here are some of the reactions on government formation in Jammu and Kashmir after PDP anointed Mehbooba Mufti as their legislature party leader.
महबूबा जी मुतमईन हुई। हम हैरान हैं क्योंकि लगातार 2.5 महीने से हमें बताया जा रहा है कि ये दिल्ली से कुछ हासिल करेंगे। इन्होंने शायद राजभवन से बाहर आने के बाद महबूबा जी ने आप ही लोगों से कहा कि हम CBMs लाए बिना हुकूमत नहीं बनाएंगे। आज क्या बदला? उन्हें जवाब देना होगा।
मुझे आशा है कि अब घाटियों से पाकिस्तान जिंदाबाद के नारे नहीं सुनने को मिलेंगे। समूची घाटी भारत माता की जय जयकार करेगी। हिंदुस्तान मुर्दाबाद के नारे नहीं होंगे और कश्मीर विश्वविद्यालय में तिरंगा झंडा फहरेगा। चूंकि भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने समूचे देश को जिस राष्ट्र की परिभाषा दी है उसका असली इम्तिहान अब जम्मू कश्मीर में होगा।
Because of this delay, 2.5 months delay, there was president rule, governor's rule, and that is not called for. If people have elected, for a popular government, then that government should run. That government should be formed as early as possible. Why this long has been, taken by all these people?
News from down south. Congress leader Ghulam Nabi Azad will be holding talks with the DMK chief M. Karunanidhi in Chennai today over seat sharing between the two parties. Now, the visit of Azad comes in the backdrop of unsuccessful attempts of the DMK to woo DMDK to its camp. Now that a major party like DMDK is out of the picture, it is expected that Congress would bargain for more seats. Now, besides the Congress, DMK has reached an electoral understanding with Muslim parties like the IUML and the MMK. IUML has been allotted 5 seats by the DMK. And the Congress has released its manifesto for the Assam elections. The party has promised that one member of each family in the state will be provided jobs if it returns to power. Now, Chief Minister Tarun Gogoi released the manifesto and said that the target of its government is to give 10 lakh jobs in both government and private sector in the next 5 years. The manifesto also promised to classify families as poor whose annual income is less than 2.5 lakh rupees and give benefits accordingly. The party also said that if voted to power, it will fill all vacant teaching posts in schools and create 2 lakh more such posts in the next 5 years. It also promised to regularize services of all the employees within the next 5 years. The poll document also promised that the government will demand the centre to construct a new airport and set up a Guwahati High Court bench in the Barak Valley.
तो अभी भी हमारा मेजर प्रॉब्लम क्या है? अभी भी हमारा मेजर प्रॉब्लम अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट है। तो जॉब क्रिएशन जो बोलते हैं उसका हम सबसे ध्यान देते हैं और जॉब क्रिएशन करने के हम क्या करने को बहुत ज़रूरत है। सारा एजुकेशन सिस्टम को हम ओवरऑल रीओरिएंटेड करने को होगा। ट्रेनिंग सेंटर की भी अलग करने को होगा जिससे जॉब क्रिएशन एजुकेशन सिस्टम ऐसा होगा जिससे ऐसा ट्रेनिंग देगा जो उसका स्किल डेवलपमेंट हो जाएगा.
Let's get you some more election stories this morning in Election Wrap. CPIM in Kerala has said that it will cancel all the controversial decisions taken by the outgoing Oomen Chandy government if the LDF comes to power in the 16th of May Assembly elections. The party called for a top-level investigation into the land gifts made by the UDF to the real estate mafia. It accused the Chandy government of being involved in large-scale corruption, such as the allocation of government land as well as permission given to corporates to fill wetlands. In an effort to shed BJP's upper caste image, the party has fielded several SC, STs and OBCs in the list of 245 candidates for the upcoming elections in West Bengal. The BJP is also pitching its appeal to the Hindu backward classes in the minority-dominated area of Hariharapara in Murshidabad. The party has also included leaders from the backward classes in their poll committee. Ahead of the 6th-phase assembly polls in West Bengal beginning 4th of April, the Election Commission has asked district authorities to restrict illegal entry of arms and seize existing ones. Following a complaint by the BJP recently over the reports of stockpiling of illegal arms in different districts of the state, The poll watchdog has asked the district authorities to send an action-taken report on the issue. Well, moving on to the other big story of the day. Well, David Coleman Headley has revealed that Lashkar had planned more attacks post-26/11. During his cross-examination, Headley also said that former Shiv Sena Supremo Bal Thackeray was on the terror outfit's hit list. Here are all the details.
On day 2 of his cross-examination, Pakistani-American terrorist David Coleman Headley told a Mumbai court that the Lashkar-e-Toiba planned to launch more attacks after 26/11. The 2008 Mumbai carnage accused is being re-examined via video conferencing from an undisclosed location in the United States, where he is serving a prison term of 35 years.
26/11 के बारे में और डेविड हेडली ने ये बात बताई कि उसके बाद भी वो भारत पे और हमले करने चाहते थे लश्कर-ए-तोयबा, ये बात उसने आज कोर्ट के सामने बताई.
In another big revelation, Headley also told the court that the Lashkar wanted to eliminate former Shiv Sena chief Bal Thackeray. He said that the person who was assigned for the job to kill Thackeray was arrested. Headley also said that he had visited the Shiv Sena Bhavan twice but did not specify the year of his visit.
He has said that Shiv Sena Supremo, Shri Bala Saheb Thackeray, they attempted to kill him and one person was apprehended by police, but however later on he escaped from the police. Of course, Headley has made it clear that he had no first-hand knowledge about this information, but he got the knowledge from the Lashkar-e-Toiba people.
Headley, who has turned approver in the terror case, is being cross-examined by the lawyer of Abu Jundal, an alleged key plotter of the 2008 Mumbai terror attacks. During the course of his cross-examination, Headley told court the US had once financed his trip to Pakistan and that he had donated 70 lakh rupees to the terror outfit LET till 2006. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, there have been arrests in Brussels after those deadly attacks. We'll get you all the details, but after a very short break. Stay tuned.
Tales that inspire. Stories of social change. A salute to diversity. Promoting public discourse. Events that motivate. Inspiring the innovative spirit. Watch Rajya Sabha television documentaries. Mondays, Tuesdays and Wednesdays at 10:30 p.m.
Saina Nehwal, the first Indian to win a medal in badminton at the Olympics. The world #2 ranked player is also the first Indian to win the World Junior Badminton Championships and the first Indian to win a Super Series tournament. Saina Nehwal in fact completed a hat-trick Super Series titles in 2010. That same year, she became the first Indian singles player to reach the final of the year-ending Super Series finals, defeating two-time All-England champion and former world #1 Tine Baun in the semis.
Art arisen from a multi-hued cultural canvas. Tradition and cultural fervor dating back centuries. And encircling them all, there's a magic that awes. Embrace your nation's brilliant human warmth. Watch Colors of India, Sundays at 9:30 p.m. on Rajya Sabha television.
This is Mana village, the only migratory village in India. It is also the last Indian village in Mana Pass Valley, right at the Indo-China border, next to Tibet. When Badrinath temple shuts down for its winter break, the entire Mana village comes out to worship gods before the annual migration begins. Then Mana village literally switches off down to the last quarter. These doors will be opened up only after 6 months.
Welcome back after the break. Now, stranded Indian passengers in Brussels began arriving back home in a Jet Airways flight following the terror attacks. Now, as a part of the recovery operations, its first flight departed from Amsterdam for Mumbai and the second one to Delhi. The Mumbai-based airline, however, did not give the number of flyers who were stuck at the Brussels airport due to the blast, which left over 50 people dead and several injured, including 2 crew members of Jet Airways. Meanwhile, External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj has said that all efforts are on to track the one Indian missing since the Brussels blast. Now, tweeting in this regard, Sushma Swaraj said that the last phone call of Infosys employee from Bangalore who had gone missing has been tracked to a metro rail in the Belgian capital. Sushma Swaraj also said that the Indian embassy in Brussels is making efforts to locate Raghvendra and Ganesh. Sushma Swaraj had earlier informed that the government was coordinating with Jet Airways to evacuate all Indian citizens.
No, we were stuck. There were no flights, so we were stuck there. So we got the Indian government to arrange a flight for us, so we came back.
Belgium government did a really good job first day, and they placed us at the army camp first, and then after that, next day everyone came, the embassy came, and everybody else came, so we were taken care of.
Meanwhile, in fresh raids, the Belgian security forces detained 6 people in connection with the twin bombings last Tuesday. Meanwhile, Turkey said that it had warned Belgium that one of the suspected suicide bombers, Brahim al-Bakraoui, was a foreign fighter. He was deported to Netherlands in June 2015.
Intense police raids continue in Belgium as they race against time to nail down suspects. 6 people have been detained. 3 suicide attackers are dead. Police forces are now looking for 2 others. Brussels meanwhile admitted that it made errors relating to one of the Brussels attackers. Brahim el-Bakraoui, one of the 3 identified suspected suicide bombers, was expelled by Turkey in July 2015 after he was arrested near the Syrian border. Turkish officials had then notified the Belgian and Dutch authorities that he might be a foreign fighter trying to reach Syria. Apparently, Belgium ignored the warnings. Bakraoui brothers were also on the US counter-terrorism watch list even before the arrest of Paris attack suspect Salah Abdeslam. Meanwhile, the brother of another suicide bomber, Najim Lachroui, said he gave no signs of being radicalized. He had left for Syria in 2013 and broke all contact with his family.
Pas croire donc que c'était lui, mais bon, voilà. Comme mon avocat l'a dit, on ne choisit pas sa famille.
Que vous vous souvenez de M. Abaoud ou de M. Abdeslam?
Non, jamais, ça jamais.
Quand il vous a appelé pour dire qu'il était
Ça, je ne l'ai jamais vu.
Yabancı terörist savaşçı olduğu yönündeki uyarımıza rağmen Belçika terörizmle bağlantısını tespit edememiştir. Sınır dışı işlemini 14 Temmuz 2015'te nota ile Belçika Büyükelçiliğine iletmişiz.
Belgian Interior and Justice Ministers offer to resign over the security lapse.
Ik kan ook niet voor collega's spreken. Ik heb voor mijn eigen uitgemaakt dat het in die omstandigheden geraadzaam was en mijn verantwoordelijkheid pakken, politieke verantwoordelijkheid. En ik heb mijn ontslag bij de premier aangeboden. De kern heeft deze morgen, de premier en de kern hebben mij deze morgen uitdrukkelijk gevraagd.
The EU meanwhile called for plans to share strategic intelligence data to be fast-tracked. Many of the European nations have withheld their more strategic data despite professed willingness to share it.
emphasizes that we will exchange information even swifter than we already do, that we will now very soon need to implement the passenger name records. We will need to see a swift completion of legislation on combating terrorism.
France has arrested a suspect near Paris. He was apparently plotting an attack. The France counter-terrorism squads also carried out raids on Thursday.
Cette opération fait suite à une interpellation importante effectuée ce matin par la Direction générale de la sécurité intérieure qui a permis de mettre en échec un projet d'attentat en France conduit à un stade avancé.
Islamic State on Thursday released a fresh video on social media calling for jihad. IS had claimed responsibility for Tuesday's twin suicide bombings in Brussels that killed 31 people and injured many others. Ahead of Good Friday, Pope Francis condemned arms manufacturers as partly responsible for the attack in Brussels. Several memorial services were held across Europe to pay tributes to victims of terrorist attacks. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, news from the Middle East now. Well, the US and Russia have agreed to aim for a draft version of a new constitution for Syria by the month of August. The decision came after talks between Russian President Vladimir Putin and US Secretary of State John Kerry in Moscow on Thursday. Both the leaders also agreed to press the Syrian government and rebels to speed up talks on a political transition. Meanwhile, the United Nations brokered Syria peace talks in Geneva concluded on Thursday. Both warring sides in Syria agreed on 12 common principles. It includes the rejection of terrorism, rebuilding of Syrian army, democratic non-sectarian state, zero tolerance of reprisals, right of return for refugees, rejection of foreign interference in Syria, and a political transition of power. On the ground in Syria, Assad forces have entered the Islamic State-held ancient city of Palmyra.
Russia will have to speak for itself as to what it's going to choose to do in order to help Mr. Assad make the right decisions. But we agreed today on what we announced, that we will accelerate the effort to try to move the political process forward.
Мы, наверное, главное на данном этапе договорились активизировать усилия по созданию необходимых условий для политического процесса. Политический процесс должен завершиться договоренностью самих сирийцев о том, каким они хотят видеть свою страну.
At this stage, the discussions are and were meant to actually keep the momentum and at the same time prepare for the real talks about transition, political transition.
Let's get you some more international news in World Wrap. Former Bosnian Serb leader Radovan Karadzic has been convicted of genocide and war crimes in the 1992-95 Bosnian War. He was sentenced to 40 years in jail. The UN judges found him guilty of 10 of the 11 charges, including genocide over the 1995 massacre. He had denied all charges, saying that any atrocities committed were the actions of rogue individuals, not the forces under his command. Preliminary results show New Zealanders have voted to keep their existing flag after a national referendum. 56.6% people voted for no change, while 43.1% opted for a new design. Just over 2.1 million votes were cast. New Zealand Prime Minister John Key had advocated the new flag but called on to embrace people's decision. A final result taking into account late ballots will be announced later on Wednesday. Transport ministers of Australia and Malaysia have said that 2 plane parts found in Mozambique almost certainly came from missing Malaysian Airlines flight MH370. The 2 pieces of debris were found separately and were flown to Australia for analysis. MH370 vanished in March 2014 with 239 people on board. And on to some cricket news. And here are some of the fixtures from the ICC World T20 today. It will be a do-or-die situation for both Pakistan and Australia when both the teams take on each other in their Super 10 Group 2 game today in Mohali. It is necessary for both the teams to win the matches in order to brighten their semi-final aspirations. If Pakistan beats Australia, then it has to wait for Australia to get the better of India and hope the net run rate favors it. Australia, on the other hand, has to beat both Pakistan and India, which it faces at the same venue on 27th of March, to join New Zealand in the last four, who have already qualified for the semi-finals. In the other match, South Africa and West Indies will fight against each other in the Super 10's Group 1 match in Nagpur. West Indies hold the aces after 2 wins from their opening 2 matches, while a third one will see them take control of the group and set themselves up to top it, with only Afghanistan left to play. The win will also guarantee them a semi-final berth. Now, Chris Gayle will return to the top of the batting order for the Caribbeans. On the other hand, South Africa desperately need a victory to boost their prospects of reaching to the semi-finals with just a win from 2 outings. If South Africa fail to beat the West Indies, then England would be in pole position to qualify from the group going into the last round-robin game. However, the Proteas preparations were dealt a blow after all-rounder JP Duminy was ruled out of the match with a hamstring injury that he picked up in the 37-run win over Afghanistan on Sunday. More sporting action now in Sports Beat. Indian football suffered a humiliating defeat from Iran 4-0 in a Group D match of the 2018 FIFA World Cup qualifiers at the Azadi Stadium in Tehran. Iran's Haji Safi scored twice, while the Azmoun and Ali Reza also got on the score sheet as the highest-ranked team in the Asia blanked India. With this win, Iran finished as Group D leaders with 17 points, while winless India remained 5th with just 3 points to their name ahead of the final game against Turkmenistan in Kochi on 29th of March. 5-time world champion Vishwanathan Anand suffered a defeat at the hands of Fabiano Caruana of United States in the 10th round of the candidates chess tournament. Playing black, Anand went for a topical variation, but Caruana was apparently better prepared as he got a decent lead on the clock in the early phase of the game. Anand tried to complicate matters, but Caruana was spot on to piece a sacrifice in the middle game, and after the dust subsided, Anand gave the piece back but landed himself in an inferior endgame. Australian all-rounder Shane Watson has announced retirement from international cricket after the ongoing World T20. Watson has already retired from Test cricket last year and has not featured in one-day internationals since September 2015. The big-hitting all-rounder will, however, continue to play domestic 2020 tournaments. Watson will continue to feature in the Indian Premier League as well and will turn out for the Royal Challengers Bangalore. Dutch football great Johan Cruyff, who revolutionized the game with the concept of total football, has died at the age of 68. He died due to lung cancer. Cruyff is considered one of the best 4 players in the history, alongside Pelé of Brazil, Diego Maradona of Argentina and France's Michael Platini. Cruyff won 3 European Cups as a player with Ajax Amsterdam and Ballon d'Or titles in 1971 with Ajax and 1973 and 1974 with Barcelona, where he starred from 1973 to 1978. Juan Martil Del Potro, Fernando Verdasco and Fritz Taylor, all of them had advanced with the straight set wins in the first round play at the Miami Open tournament. Argentine Del Potro's 6-0, 7-6 win over countryman Guido Pella set up a second round match with third seed Roger Federer, while Spaniard Verdasco outstood Gilles Muller of Luxembourg 7-6, 6-3 to advance to a second round match against 28th seed Jeremy Chardy of France, while American qualifier Taylor Fritz cruised past Italian Simone Bolelli 6-4, 6-2. He will next meet Spanish 8th seed David Ferrer. That's all in this edition of Breakfast News. Thanks for watching.